Good morning. Morning. Let's just start with morning. And we'll work towards good morning. See how it goes. Okay. Let's put some shit away. Hey, good morning, Charles. Good morning. What's going on, brother? So I took my makeup test again yesterday. Yes, and Joe, good morning. And you fucking aced it. That's what we're gonna read, right? How are we doing today? And I passed and start training Tuesday. Charles, congratulations, brother. That's awesome. I'm assuming you're happy about this, right? Rain today. Yeah, we got rain here too. May not be bad considering, it's been a little dry and that kind of thing. Thanks, brother. Yeah, man, that's awesome. Shout out, man. So training starts. Charles, what happens after you go through the training and all that? What are the next things? Hell yeah. Well, I'll be working for myself basically. Dude, that's awesome. Charles, can I get more information? Like, what is this training for? If you can't say, that's fine. Edify me if you can. Bondsman agent, really? Oh yeah, Charles, dude, I love it. I love it. There's something to be said about, when you get to a certain point and you're just like, you know what, I'm going to take ownership of the next steps, and whatever that happens for my life and that kind of thing. And Charles, good for you, brother. I'm so happy for you. I hope this is a huge boon for not only you personally, but your family. And, I'm really happy about it. That's great. Yo, fellas, Charles is doing makeup now. I know he is. I think what he's actually training for is how to be a makeup artist. It definitely should be. That's great. I need makeup exam Hollywood. Here he comes. Right, exactly. Hollywood, here he comes. I love it. Yeah, that's great. It's good when you see, a win of some sort, whatever that win is, right? It's good to see the wins. Look, I don't expect we were going to win everything, but it's good when you get some of the important ones. It's awesome, Charles. You want to be the first victim? I mean, customer. I love it. I love it. Good evening, Edwin. How are you, my friend? I love it. Let's see. With my face, your work would be a massive improvement. Nah, you handsome man, you. I mean, eyeliner can't hurt. I mean, just it helps everybody, right? Just a little bit of eyeliner, I think that would help you out. But Ken, honestly, that natural beauty that you have, no problem. But a little eyeliner. Look what it does for JD Vance. I mean, it makes him look like something out of a brothel. Did I say that out loud? Guess I did. Edwin, take care of sick cat. Boba was coughing. Ooh, oh my. What is that, like a respiratory thing that's going on, Edwin? Oh, poor Boba. If my cards right, I could end up going from 30K at the hospital to 6 figures. Wow. Wow. Praying for you, Charles. I really hope that it all pans out. Wow, 30K. Fucking 30K. Charles, can I ask, again, you don't have to answer. Are you the sole provider for your family? Hey, Edwin, can appreciate it. Seems like respiratory thing. Most of the cat are coughing, but Boba condition is the worst. Oh, okay. Yeah, some kind of a respiratory thing, like cat flu. I will do a little show and tell in a few moments here. I just want to get a little more sanding done on this. No, the lady works. I don't know how much longer since her boss is a bitch trying to get rid of her because of her condition. Wow. Yeah. You know, Charles, and I don't mean to, I'm not going to pry. You know, that number you threw out that you make for the level of work that you do. And I think to myself, that to me is an unsustainable number. And what I mean by unsustainable, it's like I can't see how anybody can get ahead. You know, not just have enough, you know, whatever. It just doesn't seem to be economically viable. I'm not looking to go down that path. That just seems so wild to me. You know, maybe again, I'm used to Northeast pricing with home prices and, you know, expenses and everything like that. But that to me is just like, how can anybody even, if that's your annual salary, how the fuck do you survive? Hey, Nick, we scraped by. Yeah. Then Charles, go out there, fucking kick ass, and I hope you get what you honestly deserve. I really do, brother. I hope so. I hope your family gets into that next level. I really do. Wow. Goodbye, Nick. What's going on, Nick? Good morning. I'm just going to be sanding a little bit more on this Zaku head, and then I'm going to do a show and tell that I think everybody will be very excited about. Dude, I don't know how I make it. I know, Joe. I get it. It's, you know, yeah. I don't want to make it I don't. You know, it's kind of funny. It just seems like, you know, we don't want to talk politics because I understand, because it can be very affecting of, you know, people look at something from one political side or the other. But there's some parts of politics that are just basic human requirements, right? You know, a living wage, something that allows you to not just sustain, but to actually be able to live a little bit, to enjoy life, is not asking a lot. You know, it really isn't. You know, if you work for people who are making a ton of fucking money, and you're getting by with just getting by and barely that, right? I don't get that. You know, and again, I'm gonna toss this out. You can like the guy or not like the guy, but when he came out and said in New York, Mamdani saying we need a $30 an hour minimum wage, I'm thinking to myself, I can see that in New York City. So expensive, it disgusts me. Yeah, So and again, this isn't you can like the guy's politics or not, but at least that portion of it, of saying a minimum wage should be more than just a living thing where you're getting by so that you have to get a second job. It's a small thing, Charles, I got to tell you, and you and I can take this offline at some point if you'd like, and I'm perfectly willing to have this conversation. I look at what you just said, and it's like, oh my God, because I look at my world, it's like I couldn't survive on that. I could survive on that 30 years ago if I had two jobs. Seemed like the story of a friend. He worked his ass off for a small commission while his boss spent money in Vegas. Yeah, exactly. That level of us accepting that is getting to be, it's not right. They had a meeting last year saying they had saved millions and have plenty of money. If shit hit the fan, they could sustain the hospital for 10 years. And here's a $15 Christmas gift. Hey, Spencer, good morning. Hold it. Did they literally give you a $15 Christmas gift? No, thank you. I appreciate it, but I don't want you to spend more money than you need to. Wow. Maybe there should be a maximum wage. Yes, there should be. Yep, we are lucky if we can even get. Fuck me. Wow. Like I said, guys. Spencer, what's going on, brother? Good morning. By the way, Spencer and I had a wonderful conversation last night. Spencer's really taken charge of a number of little details with the website for PatCon and getting some other stuff going. And I can't thank Spencer enough, given that Bill, our usual, my first VP at Patriot, and the guy who usually runs Patriot, unfortunately, his work is just kind of clobbered him a little bit. He's not able to do as much as he's done in the past. We get a bag of dicks from our company. Told my boss, wow, now I can take my kids to get something off the dollar menu at McDonald's. Or for a company like that, they gave us a new work shirt. We already got these for free. Is he for hire? I'm just a show of hands. And this, again, I want people to understand this is never a political conversation. This is a human dignity conversation. Anybody else think that that having a living wage, not a minimum wage, but having a living wage, like one that I can actually live my life and have a little bit of money to go out and maybe not just buy something off the dollar menu, but a little bit. How many people think that having a living wage is a good thing? Raise your hands. I'm being serious about this. This isn't a, I don't give a shit if you're a fucking Republican or a Democrat, but you got to look at your area and just say, what do people need to live here? And if, like in New York, you need $30 an hour, then fuck it, $30 an hour. If in an area you need 15, 20, 25, then it's that. It shouldn't be you having to go get a second job or whatever, Anyway, fuck. Just, sanding. I am sanding and it's almost done. Got to show at least a little something here, right? Living wage only works if they stop raising prices of everything. Actually, Nick, I got to tell you, I think a living wage is where we also start looking at the level of compensation. There's a lot more to that conversation. Who owns a company? How's compensation done? Is it more important that we get, our stock prices up if it's a publicly traded company, or if you've got a private equity company that owns you? That's an interesting one. We're not going to go into that today. All of that stuff leads into this conversation, So if you're making money so that those people who own stock in your company are making money, remember, it's how much money can we make? We have to keep our expenses down. You as an employee are an expense. So there is a way of balancing it all out. It's not going to be an easy one, but there is a way of balancing it all out. Anyway, with that, guys, I'm going to go do a quick little show and tell. Good. Yeah, living wage in this economy. I know, exactly. Dude, this is why I'm a huge fan of, again, you can love the guy or not love the guy for the rest of his politics, but I love Mamdani because of what he said. I think he's like, let's try something different. $30 an hour. I think it makes a lot of sense, and I hope he can pull it off. Before I forget, Clint, good morning, brother. How are you? Company that makes Tylenol has a motto: customers first, shareholder last. And that's how it should be, right? Your customers should always be the ones that come first. If we make money off of something, great, but that's not going to be the driving force. Well, two things changed, Nick. Insurance went up by 75% and cost of living went up, then COVID. So I made $16. So I was able to afford everything. Yeah. Clintonomics. Yeah, exactly. No, he's 100% right. All right. Here's the thing, if I may. This all started because of Charles, and let's not forget, Charles, I'm praying, and I want you to let us know on a regular basis how that pans out. Nothing would please me more than to hear you get to a point where you live a life that you don't feel like that burden. And especially like what you just described with yourself. And I know the work environment you worked in and the one that your wife is, she's that level of, we don't like that you have an illness, because I know you mentioned this. Your wife has an illness that precludes her from being able to do certain things. That's not acceptable. What do you mean it's not acceptable? She has no choice in the matter of being sick. Bullshit. Anyway, sorry, financial issues are a big one. We should not have. Anyway, okay, let's table that for a second. I can go on for hours. All right. Long time coming, my friends, but it is done. That is done. Yeah, Joe, I made a living wage and keep watching everything around me keep going up. Yep. Stream started off spicy today. It did. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. Oh, shit, that's on there. Woo, woo, woo. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I'll kind of do a close-up. Is it perfect? No. Is it exactly what I wanted it to do? Yes. So if I'm looking at it like this, that's exactly how I wanted this thing to look. Will it be at the meeting Friday? Going to miss it. It will be at the Friday meeting, Spencer. It will also be at PatCon. That's fantastic, George. Thank you. Very nice. Thank you very much. If Nick approves, it ain't too bad. So is it perfect? No. If you take a look at where that light source comes, it ain't perfect. But I didn't do an LED, but I did do a little yellow dot just to kind of show where it may be coming from. Better take pics for Blue Sky. I will take pics of this thing and get it posted. But that came out. It isn't perfect, but it came out really good, like really, really good. I'm really happy with how that looks. Thank you, Peter. I appreciate it. To the rooftop. Yep, it did. A little dot right on top there. Little itty bitty dot. Okay, it passes. As long as I can appease Nick, that's all that matters. Looks cool. Painted always looks cooler than LEDs. I think in this case, it had to. By the way, Gray States, welcome. How are you? I think in this case, it did. So I'm liking the prop. The prop came out really good. Not perfect, but look, it's translucent enough. You can actually see where the light's kind of passing through it, which is just what I wanted. I also think that this is a cartoon character. So this kind of makes sense that all of this has a bit of a cartoonish look to it. Though the details on the plane, and by the way, let's see if we can see them. Both gun sights are still on there, which in itself is a miracle of God. An LED would throw weird shadows. It would. George, it's against the clouds. Imperfection is perfection. Oh, yeah, in that regards, I'm not complaining. And in fact, the plane hides a lot of the most egregious parts. So no complaints. What a the stick is the back. Oh yeah, I'm gonna cut that. But I just wanted to get this thing fully positioned before I finish that. I also, not that it matters, but I'll probably touch up some of that black stuff where there was paint. There are areas where I still need to tweak some stuff out. There's some light colored paint that bled through a mask. I'll just have to touch that up a little bit. That's actually the color I'll be using, and I might do a little bit like a little rivery scene or something like that. Knock on wood. Yeah, exactly, Spencer. Trust me. I've replaced those things over a dozen times at this point. So yeah. So yeah, that stick will be cut before the show. The stick itself on this side has been painted. It needs to come through just a little bit more. There it goes. Anyway, you can barely even see the stick. The beam that's kind of supporting it, which came out great too. It's nicely tucked under the wing. It doesn't impact the visual. You know, you do a pretty wide sweep. You don't see the visual of where that support is. I traced lights, waves. It's possible, yeah. Turned out really nice. Now, and I appreciate it, guys. This has been a long journey. This was remarkably, in some ways, every model journey is always a unique one, in my opinion. At least I'd like it to be. The model itself was its own challenge, the base, everything like that. But the painting on that background, like with that cloud effect and the bat symbol and everything like that, that to me was what kind of made a lot of this super fun. And what also delayed a lot of this, because I didn't know how to do it, because I'm not an artist. I have a lot of respect for people who do airbrush artwork or do any kind of hand painting to that level of detail. That's not me. So to be able to pull that off, it's, yeah, I'm patting myself a little bit on the back. Love seeing it completed after all the trouble it gave in the beginning. Yeah, that the plane itself. Yeah. And then just the thought of how we're going to get this thing all done. Like I said, I'm really happy. Competition worthy. Don't give a shit. I look at this. I'm like, yeah, I'm proud to have this thing sitting on a desk. Very, very happy with it. So anyway, a little bit of touch up, but it will be showing up this Friday to the, and you guys are the first to see it. I didn't want to post anything until everybody here had an opportunity to see it. So we'll have time to paint out a screen grab and glue it on the back. I could possibly do that, and I'm not going to. I'm actually, there's a time and when you just have to say, you know what? I've kind of completed what I want to do on this thing. I'm good with it. The only thing I might do is put some kind of feet on the bottom of this thing and maybe like a little weight just to give it a little less chance of it tipping over. But other than that, yeah, you got to know when when the work is done, and the work is done. So I'm going to put it back over there for now. And I will probably take some photos in the next couple of days and post them on Blue Sky. Only if they're human feet. Only if they're human feet. So next up will be, for next month's meeting, I'm going to try to get Misa Hayase done, get her painted. She continues to just sit here. And the only thing that's left to do really is get her face done. And just do a little bit more cleanup on the wristbands. And that's it. And then get her all finished up. Kind of get some shadowing and that kind of thing done. So that's where that stands. So anyway, we've now had the wage earning conversation, and we've now talked a little bit about models. I guess we're kind of done for the day, guys. See you later. Bye. Anyway. So if anybody was interested, I can kind of fill you in a little bit on my my daughter's predicament from yesterday. There's a little bit more of an entertainment value to it. So she after going to urgent care, request for a CT scan, being told go to emergency room, get a CT scan. Emergency room takes an X-ray. Doctor says go see an orthopedist. Orthopedist that they recommended is not covered by our insurance. She has to drive an hour and change away to go see an orthopedist. He takes an X-ray, number 3, then says, yeah, you need to get a CT scan. She calls around to see if she can get one. They're like 3, 4, 5 weeks out for that, unless you go to the ER. She goes back to the ER. The people there are like, you're Derby girl. Weren't you just here a couple days ago? Yeah, I'm here for a CT scan. They're like, what do you mean? That's what was ordered. And now I'm told I need a CT scan by my orthopedist. And they're like, oh shit, you're not leaving here until you get one. All the staff around her were like, whoa, can we get you anything? Everything okay? Yeah. You got, they literally hinted you were done a dirty. So, but you haven't cussed out the model kit yet. Which model kit am I supposed to be cussing out, Ray? I can cuss out all of them. So she had her CT scans done. And I'm sure at some point the hospital is going to reach out with the bill. And it's like, let's have a conversation, shall we? So anyway, she's seeing the orthopedist tomorrow. And with luck, by end of week, she will know what direction she's going in and will be able to at least return to work, because kind of like what Charles was describing, she's an hourly employee, which means right now she ain't getting paid. She ain't getting paid. Anyway, though that is interesting because one of the conversations that my wife and she have had are, don't you have to accrue? Don't you accrue sick time? Because in the state of Massachusetts, it is not the. So they put it into like a stiff splint on Sunday, and she had it like that. She goes to the orthopedist. He cuts it off. She goes, and he basically says that's not a necessity right now. So it's all free. She's got it kind of just positioned either in a sling or on a pillow. She seems to be pretty good. She was working on a model one-handed. Kind of reminds me of me a couple of years ago. But yeah, she's it's free right now. Now, will that change? We'll know after she sees the orthopedist. But it's just fucking crazy. I'm just telling you, it is fucking crazy. But in the end, if I may, and this is just something that I found. So this is obviously something that is got to run. Hope things get better there. Yeah. Thank you very much, Spencer. Hey, have a safe, good travels. Enjoy your time away. I'm going to miss you on Friday. Spencer's, I love hanging out with Spencer. Have a good time away, Spencer, and I'll see you when you get back, brother. Healthcare in America. Gotta love it. Yeah. Not even close. Not even close. Without sounding like a certain person in charge, the system is broken. I mean, there's no question about it, that what we're in right now is it isn't benefiting anybody but those in the insurance company. Those who have a financial stake. We're the nicest third world country in the world. I'm not even sure we're the nicest anymore, Nick. But I appreciate that. I agree with you. We are becoming a third world country. Doc McCoy said, "What is this? The Dark Ages?" Yeah, I think he actually said Did he say the Dark Ages or the medieval ages? God, medieval medicine. That was Star Trek 4, by the way. Anyway, might have to watch that again. I do like that movie a lot. Anyway, crazy, but at least for her, things are going in a positive direction. So we'll know what the next steps are going to be very soon. All right. So this, I'm not sure I need to do much more than that. Sorry, I keep trying to go for a camera that doesn't exist anymore. I don't think I need to do anything more than that. What we're going to do is make this thing a little bit more jaggedy and then just have pipes and wires kind of hanging outside the bottom of it. I won't do that today, but I'll pull out some materials and maybe start on that tomorrow. I saw that in the theaters when I was a kid. It's still my favorite. Star Trek 4. Oh, yeah. You saw it as a kid? That's so funny. Clint, I keep thinking you're an old man. And then when you say you saw it as a kid, I feel like, he's still young. I saw when I was in, was it 86? That would have been college. 86, 87? When did it come out? Okay, Star Trek 79, 82, 84, 87, 89, 91. 87. I would have been deep into college. I like this already. I need 2 more of these heads. Fun fact, they brought everyone from the bus scene into Picard for season 2. Yeah, I forget. You're right, Joe. Don't watch Picard. It's a terrible, terrible show. But yes, they did, including the guy who got who basically gave the bird. 12 was still a kid, right? Preteen. Yeah, I would say you're a kid. Jesus, were you 12 in 87? God damn, Shazam. You are fucking young. Yeah, this is a Zaku head from, I believe this is one of the Origin Zaku heads. So what I need to do is I'm going to be going through and seeing if I can find in my MSD or collection or Origin collection to see if I can find a couple of more of these things. I graduated high school in 87. Okay, so you're close to me, Peter. Did you really? Because I graduated in 84. So you may be the second oldest guy here. I was born in 87. Fuck. 10, 12 is basically preteen. Yes, it is. It's when you get to 13 that you're officially a teenager. Yay. 90s, baby. I'm dirt. I'm dirt. Not even close. Yeah, so I might go through some of the collection and see if I can find a few of these MSD heads and just go from there. I thought I had a bunch. The funny thing is I'm going to have to go through my bins and just see if I can. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be completely wrong. I thought I had at least 1, if not 2, Zaku heads that were loose from stuff that wasn't necessary, but I haven't been able to find them. So I got a few laying around. This Phil build stuff. Let me know. Whoa. Let me know if you need more. Hold it. Is this the Phil? Phil? Is this the Phil? The guy I've talked to before who I've mentioned quite often because Phil is the guy. Phil is the guy who basically is like, there's nothing wrong with any paints. You just have to understand how to use them. I'd have thought you had one of those Home Depot buckets filled with Zaku heads. That's what I thought too, but I guess not. If this is the Phil, I'm going to do a little show and tell in a second. Wow. So Phil is, when I was on Instagram, one of the nicest guys I'd ever dealt with. Remarkably helpful. Always wanted to do well by the community. Like even at a time when things were difficult for Phil, the two things I always got, always wanted to help people, and the love for his daughter, was so palpable. Damn. See if Phil comes back. If I haven't embarrassed him to death and he decided to leave. Phil, photon from the cutting mat Discord, really? Oh. Wow. Okay. I'm assuming this is Phil, so I'm going to do a little show and tell. Something that a few years back, Phil is an artist, and I mean like a legit artist, not like what I just kind of fake with my bat symbol thing. And years ago, Phil, I was fortunate enough to win a yikes. Kazaku heads, if you need them. Thanks for the kind words. Miss you, man. Hi, Peter. Yeah, Phil, I miss you too, brother. Let's do me a favor. I'm not on Instagram anymore. I've completely ditched all of that meta stuff. Are you on Blue Sky? If you are, let's communicate that way. If not, I will jump on Instagram and let's see if we can get connected again. I'd love to again, just to get reconnected again. By the way, this is something I was very fortunate enough years ago to win from Phil. I bid on this artwork and absolutely, this is like glorious tattoo artwork. Either I'll figure out a way to get a hold of you. All right. Yeah, let's definitely. And Phil, if I'm here every morning, so hopefully we'll get a chance to. Those are super fun to make. I love this thing. This is proudly displayed in my theater, hung on a wall. I've got your work, John's work, and oh shit. I can't believe I'm spacing on the guy. Anyway, one other piece of artwork. I've also got Joe's artwork on an opposite wall too, hanging there too. I've been blessed to meet a lot of great people over the years and acquire some of their artwork. And it, like I said, it proudly is displayed here. Yeah, like I said, Phil is an artist. And this is why when I remember when I did a live stream with Phil, it must have been about 4 years ago. And he's like, look, you have to understand how acrylic paints work. And the way Phil described it, this is why when people say, airbrushing acrylics is bad. No, you just have to understand the chemistry. Is it as good as, say, like a lacquer? Maybe, maybe not in terms of how it lays down. No, but the basics of how it gets sprayed and the things you have to be concerned with. Yeah. If you understand those, it works beautifully. Hey, Red. New series I'm going to make again. Nice. Dope artwork. Get that as a tat. Absolutely. So anyway, that's some sweet work. Love the old school flash look. Yeah. I love this piece. So this gets, like I said, it's a little dust. Gonna dust it off right now. It gets proudly hung in my theater. Wow. Wow. I got to tell you, I'm so happy. One of the things about transitioning off of Instagram has been the loss of communication with many people. A bunch of people have made it over here, but there's a lot of people I knew from way back early on in my Instagram days who I don't see nearly as much, and I feel bad about having lost contact with them. Ultimately, I needed to do this for my sanity's sake. I just can't deal with Meta anymore. But I'm glad when somehow we get reconnected again. So Phil, thank you so much. I'm going to try to remember Gray States is Phil. Phil, if you're on again, if you have a free morning, definitely pop in anytime you'd like. Thomas Goes to Space or something. The Space Adventures of E2 class tank engine. Probably going to plan the name for it. Sounds good to me. Almost sounds like Galaxy Express. I could start singing that song for you guys, but I'm not going to because I'll get dinged and you don't want to hear me sing. Anyway. All right, guys. First of all, I'm so happy to, this has been an interesting day. I'm just going to say that. Thanks for the idea, George. Of course. this has been an interesting day. Starting out with the conversation about Charles and his, again, fingers crossed, Charles. Keep us posted. Nothing would make me happier than to see you be successful. Same, got offline almost entirely. Been checking in here when I'm up early. Just haven't been chatty. Yeah, that's fine. And again, totally understand. And just to know that people are here and kind of chiming in, or just kind of listening in, always makes, especially people I haven't seen in a while. It's always good to see. Galaxy Express or Galaxy Shunter, Galaxy Branch Line. I like Express personally. But we started off with Galaxy of Terror. One of my favorite movies. It's good to see Charles moving forward. Thank you, everybody, for the feedback on the bat plane and being part of that journey. I do really appreciate it. And then just having Phil pop in here at the end, talking about his artwork and just, what Phil has meant to me as a modeler, as an artist, as somebody who's working towards it. It's really important. So very, very happy for how this today went. Guys, this is what it's all about. Let's keep ourselves positive. Let's try to talk things through when things don't go perfectly well. I'm hoping this is like a place where we can discuss things, right? You guys help me every morning, and I hope in some way other people feel that same level of positive energy, even when the topics get heavy. And I know yesterday it was fucking down and dirty, and I'm sorry, but it helped me a lot, and I hope other people kind of felt a little cathartic from that conversation as well. Anyway, my friends, wait for what? Guys, I'm going to start this. Stay safe and stay sane, everybody. Thanks for being on this morning. I really do appreciate it. I think I say it every morning. I do love you all, and I'm so happy when we do these things. Even on those mornings when it's like, I'm exhausted. Do I really want to live stream? Every time we wrap up, I'm like, I'm so thankful I did that. So, guys, go out there, do good. Brighten the world as much as you possibly can. Make it a better planet. It's a pretty effed up planet right now, but it's up to us to continue at the small level and at the large scale to make it better. Continue to do that great work. Anyway, I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Have a great day. Do good. Love you all, and peace.